Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio, your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, where we proudly provide world-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and our show today is The Power of Etiquette and Manners. We've been on a little bit of a hiatus since November, I think, so we're thrilled to welcome you all back. And we are going to introduce the star of our show, Mr. Philip Sykes. He is the president and founder of the British School of Excellence, and he is also a dear friend. Let's welcome Philip to the program. Hello there.
Dr. Jacalyn, it's good to be back. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. How are you?
Really well, thank you. Really, really well, thank you.
Been a lot of changes since we were here before.
There have huge changes, lots of things going on. And in that time, since we took that break, well, it hasn't been that long, but it seems like ages. You and I connected in London in person for the first time in November last year. I had the privilege of being your host and you being a wonderful house guest. And we engaged on Train the Trainer. We did some fun things in London, and you had the opportunity and we had the privilege of listening to what you had to share on some of the areas that you really specialize in, and that is setting boundaries, the real art of listening as the listening mentor. And last year came to a quick end, and now we're already in the first quarter of 2025.
Yes, and you've had some major changes going on with you as well. Do you want to tell our audience about that?
Certainly, major changes. We've managed to launch a book, which is not a big announcement, but we launched a book at the end of last year in Brazil originally, and it's called Crushing Etiquette. My co-author, Mira Prahlad, and myself, we worked very hard on that book. We started in the COVID era and we managed to get it launched last year. So that's a big change. The other change is I'm spending more time in the wonderful USA. I really am embracing this along with my family. We are so loving the weather, the people, the friendliness, and the open spaces, as well as the opportunity that the USA offers. And it gives me the opportunity to spend more time in this country, but also to be able to travel from here. And since then, I was in Saudi Arabia a few months ago, working with Cartier on their new launch of their Solitaire flagship store in Saudi, and then going on to Bermuda to work with our incredible colleague, Lorene Phillips, our country partner there, working with the Bermuda Money Authority on their trip and focus to Japan. And what else has happened? Yeah, visiting Loretta in the Bahamas, our other country partner. So lots of things happening, and I'm very excited, as I said earlier, to be here.
That is quite a lot that has been going on, Philip. So congratulations on all of that. And we are going to be discussing today a little bit more about the Train the Trainer program. And you recently had some cohorts who enrolled in the program and who graduated, which we love. So what is Train the Trainer, and how does that encompass or become a part of the power of etiquette and manners? Are they mutually exclusive, or are they definitely related?
It's all very, very well related. And Dr. Jacalyn, we had the privilege of you attending Train the Trainer last year. And I know you wanted to do it in person rather than do it via Zoom. Now, the beauty about one of the offshoots, a positive that came off that wretched period we all experienced was being able to connect through the power of this medium, Zoom, whatever sort of digital platform, TV platform one can incorporate. And we have managed to really give people the feeling and the essence of what it is that we deliver and offer via Zoom. But as we can all imagine, being in person gives it another dimension. And it really was fantastic to have you in the UK. Going back to your original question, Train the Trainer, for those out there who've never connected with us or engaged with this incredible platform, USA Global TV and Radio, is very much about giving you incredible broad strokes in the power of etiquette, manners, and emotional intelligence, and giving you these quintessential tools on how to move forward in life, whether it's for your own use and your own benefit, which will then benefit other people, but more a deeper sort of understanding behind Train the Trainer is really giving you those tools, those skills to be able to go out there and not only practice what you preach, but be able to deliver this material to all walks of life, no matter what age group they are, no matter where they come from in the world. And don't take my word for it, but we have the most incredible testimonials on people who have gone on to do some incredible things off the back of Train the Trainer. And as an organization, we are passionate and fastidious about opening the door for you and allowing it to remain open. So you always have us to lean on, and for us to support you, and for us to give you a kick up, up the rear end, so to speak, when you need it. And that's really a very basic nutshell, in a nutshell, I'm literally scratching the surface on how powerful and life-changing Train the Trainer is.
Thank you, Philip. And having gone through it myself, I can definitely affirm that that is the case. And I think something else is you as an attendee, as a cohort, get exposure to people from all different parts of the world. And you really get to understand a little bit more about the culture, and you make new friends, which is incredible. And I know that you and Leanne and your team, you have a WhatsApp group for all alumni graduates for people to engage. And I've seen many people making collaborations or suggestions or just forming these groups together as a result of taking the program.
It honestly is so powerful, Dr. Jacalyn. People have written a global book on etiquette. We had, I think it was well over 14 or 16 past Train the Trainer students who did the program. Some were in the same cohort, some individually, and through the network, they managed to put this incredible book together. It really is a doorstopper. And each person from their respective country had the opportunity and the privilege to write a chapter on how to connect, how to engage, how to sort of really build rapport with people of that country. Now, a lot of people get muddled when they sort of think about what etiquette and what manners are. And where we stand as an organization, we've really given that a lot of thought, and a lot of research goes into this. And it's something that we are absolutely, fastidious about in sharing with people, that this is a lifestyle choice. This is not something you sort of turn on and you behave accordingly and with conduct and that sort of thing. And next minute, or you go home and you flop back into an old way, an old mindset. We truly focus on the head and the heart are connected. And this for us is absolutely fundamental in our approach and in our journey. And in those wonderful students writing about the etiquette and engagement that they come into, that they deliver in this book, I really want to get this message across that in summary, it really much is manners are very much the guiding principles of respect and social interaction. And etiquette is that unwritten code of exact rules. Manners very much represent your inner self, where etiquette is what and how we portray oneself to the public. One represents of the way of acting, and the other is how you treat others. Now, that people think, oh, well, I treat people well, I do this. But do we really do it consistently? Are we really mindful? Are we present? Are we situationally aware of what's going on around us? So going back to what you were sharing about the WhatsApp platform, this book came alive from just those people meeting through the power of the Train the Trainer. We've had different Train the Trainer students collaborate in partnership together. We've had Train the Trainer students setting up their own business and inviting other past Train the Trainer students to be a guest or a guest coach. And it goes on and on. And again, Dr. Jacalyn, I know many of the Train the Trainers that have come through the program have come on to do some of your incredible courses, who have raved about your programs, which really I've stood in on them. I've worked with you. I've been coached by you, and they are so. I said to you before, I truly believe that your courses should be in every school around the world.
Thank you so much, Philip. That is really kind. I think part of the issue is, at least when I'm teaching classes and I ask people about their expectations, is that people typically, in my experience, generally do not think that they are part of the problem. They think it is the other person. It's their spouse, it's their daughter, it's their husband, whomever. And they get their awakening really during the program, and they say, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that I was part of this. I thought it was him. I thought it was her.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I know this is about what we're passionate about, and what you share in your journey of setting boundaries and the art of real powerful listening, through your listening mentor program. One thing that really stood out for me is not only in setting boundaries, but also judgment, and how quickly we are to judge. Just as you said a few seconds ago, is we point fingers, we blame, or we look at someone as being that problem or the instigator or the cause. And when we break it down and we go through one of your programs, it really does, you very quickly learn to put the shoe on the other foot, so to speak. And one of the things I would love you to share is just giving our listeners an example of, whether it be setting boundaries or whether it be judgment. Just give us a little snippet of one of those areas that you really drive the nail in and get people thinking, oh my word, that is so apparent, that is so true, that's me. Is there anything that you could share with us on today's show about one of those elements that could just give someone a quintessential tool to think about over the next week and for the rest of their lives?
Yes, thank you so much for asking. What comes to mind right away is what's going on in the world, whether it's politics or, there's so many different things. We don't even have to go into it. And someone will share something about their thoughts, and the other person immediately has tuned out, because now they're thinking, oh, she's one of those, or he's one of those, or she's a Republican, she's a Democrat, whatever it happens to be. And the person is on the opposite side, and they're no longer listening, because now they feel like you have the red scarlet letter, so to speak, and they don't want anything to do with you. And I think that's part of what's going on all over the world, is that we have such judgment about so many different things. The other thing, climate change, for example, or drilling, we could go on and on. And if you're with someone who is an opposite perspective, instead of trying to understand their perspective, instead of trying to educate yourself on the other side of it, we typically just close the door and say, that's it. And I know people during the pandemic, people very strongly believed in getting the COVID injections, and some people didn't, and people stopped talking to one another. And that is, in my opinion, it's because of judgment. Instead, if we were more open-minded, we don't have to agree with the other person, but we could at least hear their perspective and respect them for having perspective.
Yeah. And I know that's just scratching the surface, and it gives people the understanding of taking a step back on every sort of scenario and situation. And it goes back to something that you and I are both familiar with, and that is pausing for thought and looking at and assessing the situation before we jump in with our own opinions and heartfelt or our thoughts. And often our heart takes over because we get so passionate about something and we're so head down, we don't actually come up for air. And that for me is a real concern, because I know for a fact, and I truly believe, that when we slow down and when we sort of pause for a moment or so, or maybe it takes a bit longer than a pause, we can really reassess the situation and reconnect on a far more dynamic level. And that comes as simple a sort of scenario as coming home from work and you connect with your significant other. And just because you might have had a bad phone call or a tough day, how are you showing up when you get home? Are you coming in with a bear like a sore head? Or are you reassessing yourself and assessing yourself and taking stock of yourself before you step through that front door and show up how one should show up for their family? And that for me is something that I know I've had to work on numerous occasions through my life. And it's something that pays not just a dividend, but huge dividends. It's like very much similar to the analogy of dropping a pebble into a beautiful mill pond. You're always going to get a ripple effect either way. So walking in with a bear like a sore head, that ripple effect is going to most probably create some pretty, not just ripples, sort of maybe even some waves, and could even go into a sort of a storm. Whereas if you come in with an incredible mindset and positivity, and you've educated yourself and you've also coached yourself, and you find a tool just to center yourself before you step through that front door, and you gently pop that pebble into that mill pond, and it creates these amazing ripples and affects everybody in the family in a very positive and wonderful way. And that for me, it actually gives me goosebumps sharing that, because so many of us get it wrong in this world, and we can circumvent those unnecessary situations which can blow up. And when things continue along those lines, they decay. It becomes like rust. And so for everyone out there, understanding how important our manners and our etiquette and our emotional intelligence is game changing. It's life changing. You can be the brightest person in the world, but if you don't adopt those aspects, those tools in your life, and make it you become a consistent person, you're destined to have some pretty challenging times ahead of you, some that cannot be repaired.
Absolutely. I agree with you, Philip. And for our audience who's watching and maybe they're thinking, yeah, I don't know what they're talking about actually today, what are some warning signs that maybe the etiquette and manners in your life are lacking? I mean, the first thing that comes to me is if you have dysfunctional relationships where you're constantly arguing with people. Can you think of any others?
Arguing with people, being quick to judge, taking an abrupt or aggressive approach, attitude, speaking to people with the incorrect tone, and speaking to people without being mindful of the choice of words that you're utilizing and engaging with. It's our body language. How do we show up with our body language? Is our body language speaking before even a little mutter comes out of our lips? Because for those of us out there, and for those of you out there, with all due respect, 93% of our communication is actually nonverbal. And that is 55% is in our body language, what we wear, our posture, but also our actual physical body language, our facial expressions, the way we stand. All of those contribute to nonverbal communication. And then you have 38%, which is our tonality. So how we speak to people. Are we talking to people with aggression? Are we questioning people? Why did you do that? What did you do that for? Rather than saying, may I ask, why did you make that choice? Similar sort of question, but the second one is so much more powerful and so much more connecting and engaging, and is not accusational, and there's no aggression attached to that. So those are just, again, scratching the surface. Thinking about other people, holding the door for people, your just basic please and thank yous. Acknowledging people by their name. No matter where we go in this world, everyone's got a job to do. So little examples, such as if you go to a restaurant, connecting with your server, engaging with them, finding out their name, introducing yourself, build that little bit rapport with them. And that in itself, you will see a completely different attitude and service happen in front of you at your table.
That is so true, Philip. I'd love to have you share a little bit about the history and the background of the British School of Etiquette and Manners, because I think that's really, about your foundation, about how you got involved and why you're so passionate about it.
Dr. Jacalyn, again, a great question. Passion, it goes beyond passion. It goes into giving people quintessential tools that are life-changing. That is the power. And it gives me goosebumps. I get very emotional about this because fortunately, and I'm very fortunate and I feel very blessed, I was born into a family where manners and etiquette weren't even negotiable. It was all about from, I think, who knows, I can't remember when back to when I was 1 or 2 years old, or even 5. But I do remember very clearly that my mum and my father were very clear on boundaries. They were very clear on how to connect, how to engage, how to respect, how to little things. You stand up when an adult or someone walks into the room, you shake hands with a firm handshake, you make eye contact, you smile, you address people correctly, you project, you don't mumble. All of those aspects were very much about part of our upbringing, so much so that I've still got friends to this day that thank me, or thank my mum rather, for my mum putting them straight, just in the simple telephone answering, or getting into the motor car in the lift club. And if you didn't greet my mum, all hell would break loose and I'd want to climb out the car in embarrassment. But I see that she wasn't belittling or trying to belittle. She was actually, in a roundabout way, giving people the fundamental tools and foundation of how to grow up and how to connect with people. And it pays dividends wherever you go in this world. I can honestly tell you that the people I grew up around and with have got incredible manners because of their background and their upbringing. And then hopefully the schools top that up. We went to a school, my brothers and I, my sister went to schools that were fastidious about etiquette and manners, about punctuality, about all those aspects that the old adage, manners maketh a man or woman. And I've always seen that approach open doors wherever I've gone. And there is that beautiful quote by Clarence Thomas, good manners will open doors, Good manners will open doors that the best education cannot. Now, I would change that. Good manners and etiquette will open doors that the best education cannot. Having said that, for those of us out there who are incredibly privileged to educate or be educated, we need to continue with our continued professional development and education. We must never stop that. But for people out there who have not had the privilege of education or very little education, by adopting this incredible attitude, these incredible manners, you will see that you can soar like an eagle. You can go anywhere in the world. You will fit in with confidence. You will fit in feeling comfortable. You will put people at ease. You will help understand other people's points of views. It's just tick, 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 tick in all the correct areas of life. And at the moment, I'm running a little series on a daily sort of quote on good manners, well, basically talking about how businesses can increase their standing in life, how they can increase their bottom line. And it's all based around what we're sharing right now. If you show up with the right attitude, if you respect people, if you're kind to people, if you listen to understand, not to respond, the doors fly open and you build rapport, you build trust, you build a foundation for yourself that is very difficult to rock.
And that's very profound. What's the thing that gets in the way, though? Emotions.
Firstly, upbringing. Monkey see, monkey do. I truly 100%. We all learn from a source. That's something. What else? People who haven't been exposed to those sort of areas of life. We now live in a digital world where it's even a faster paced life than let's say people thought the 80s were fast, the 70s and 80s. It's now on a rapid sprint, and we've become less focused, should I say. We've become less present in our mindset and less present to our surroundings. But the crux for me, Dr. Jacalyn, and to our listeners, is we as parents have the privilege and the duty to guide and steer our youngsters. And I stand very firm on this area. With all due respect, none of us in this world had the choice to be born and brought into this world. Now, if we go down that route of having children as adults or as human beings, we need to understand that there is not just a responsibility, it is a duty, it's a calling, it's more than a responsibility to bring those children into this world and give them the foundation of how they can move forward. Whether you come from a very privileged family, when I say privileged, a family that is very wealthy or a family that is middle class, lower, whatever, I don't care your background. If you as a parent or as a teacher or as a person out there who wants to see a change in this world, if we can implement and give people these quintessential tools in etiquette, manners, and help and develop our youngsters and people, not even just youngsters, the emotional intelligence side of people, you're going to start to see the most incredible results. And I'm not just meaning results in the immediate area that you're surrounding in. It would be that ripple effect that you would get throughout the world. And this is where we as human beings need to think about being kinder. We need to be more considerate. We need to be more having a what can I do for you attitude, helpful, the ability to put people at ease in a short space of time, the ability to build rapport and build trust, not to look at a way of taking advantage of one another. There are all these aspects that we all talk about freely, but are we putting this into action? And that for me is something I know for a fact that we can make this huge change. And there's this incredible poem written by a woman by the name of Dorothy Law Nolte. And in her poem, it's a poem that I think every parent should be given when they are due to have a baby and bring a gorgeous, innocent person into this world. And that poem itself is Children Learn What They Live. And it is absolutely phenomenal.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Philip. I really appreciate everything that you're sharing today. And I think what's also important for people who are watching or maybe listening on an audio only platform, what is the breakout or the agenda of the Train the Trainer programs?
The breakout and the agenda of Train the Trainer program, it really starts off with giving the students, giving our attendees a great understanding of what the program is going to entail. If anyone comes into our program thinking they're going to learn about protocol and how to greet the Queen and the King and blah, 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 you're coming to the wrong organization. Our organization is very much about those quintessential tools and skill sets that we can all take on board and we can all guide and steer people with. It's very much hands-on. It's those broad strokes. And each day is broken down into it really starts, if you think about joining the dots, and when we were children, join the dots and you create a beautiful little picture. And that is what the program is about. So in day one, we very much focus on wonderful introductions, how to engage, how to stand up in front of an audience, in front of your students. And we all have opportunity to introduce ourselves and find out the reason, the wants, the desires, why you are on this program. What is your calling? Are you here for yourself? What is it? Are you here because you want to do run a better company for yourself, or you want to run a better department? This is the beautiful thing about Train the Trainer. It's for entrepreneurs. It's for people in corporate. It's for people who want to have a better quality of life, who want to go out there and help other people. It is so unbelievably open. It's working with big organizations, small organizations. It's working in the hospitality service sector. The coaching and program lends itself to all aspects of life. So you can diversify into an area that you are passionate about, that you see there's a need and a want for. We then go into giving you the understanding of social etiquette and how to deliver that material in the aspect of giving people those tools. We do many role plays and break things down. We go into business etiquette and excellence. We go into the power of interview and the etiquette and behind interviews, going into networking, into dress codes, into image, into styling. We go into the art of dining etiquette, because as many of us understand, we have to eat every single day, and how we eat, how we conduct ourselves at the table, it's a public display. And if you do not know how to handle yourself at a table, whether it be breakfast, lunch, dinner, tea time, whatever it is, if you're eating surrounded by other people, just the mere fact of the way you eat could sink you or could help you swim very far in life. So we cover that, and there's just so many aspects. We go into the power and importance of social media and the etiquette behind social media, correspondence, communication skills. We go into DISC, which is understanding our personality angles and traits. So as a coach and as a trainer, you can help your students because you've identified or you've given them the opportunity to expose or share their personality style and the way they like to be connected with, or how you can connect with them on a far deeper, more dynamic level, therefore making the program that they are delivering or running that much more dynamic, because you understand who you're connecting with and who you're engaging with. How to wear different hats. If you're wearing these different hats, you can then connect even deeper and on a more dynamic level with the audience that is in front of you. So that's just, again, scratching the surface. For anyone who's interested, we have a breakdown on our website, which is thebritishschoolofexcellence.com.
Philip, I'd like to just add, since I did take the course myself and I have this certificate, which is right over there in frames, very nice, is the section that Adam leads about being camera ready. And I felt that section was so powerful, because each of us had to go deep within, I think, to realize what it was that could be blocking us from being at our full potential. And I think we saw some major breakthroughs from some of the cohorts in that section. Can you speak to that?
Oh, absolutely. Adam's material, yeah, again, a gentleman who's had a long history and a long career in the filming world. He's won many awards in various aspects of his television production and filming. And Adam comes with a unique angle and really pushes you out of your comfort zone. Not only out of your comfort zone, since he's come on Train the Trainer and delivered his material. I've done a couple of his programs and courses, and it really is deep thinking and really gets under your skin. And one of the women, as you know, Dr. Jacalyn, that was on the program with us, was very sort of timid and insecure about certain aspects of her surroundings in life. And she's blossomed like the most beautiful orchid that has just been nurtured and put in the sun given the right amount of water. And that's just one amazing sort of example. I know you benefited massively from it, because you're always that side and you're not being pushed to do this or change that or try this. And so again, it was wonderful toolbox for you, toolbox for, I mean, all of us benefit from that. And again, some other hidden surprises is Michelle coming all the way from Ireland, talking about our voice box, how to sort of really transform yourself and open up and expose the incredible talent we have within inside us. So there's so many little hidden gems that we bring in to Train the Trainer. And we bring in Liam from Twinings, who is just a mine of information and will give you all the most outstanding dive into the history of tea and the elegance and the etiquette behind it. But he makes it so interesting and so dynamic and so much fun. And he is very, very animated.
Yes, that was a fun time for sure. And then we did a television show together, all of us, a special event. And by the way, I have my certificate here, so I just want to show that to everyone.
And that's one of 3 certificates. So you've got your ILM City and Guild certificate and your CPD certificate as well. And just for those out there listening, we are the only organization with the accreditations we hold, all the accreditations. And we were the first organization back in 2013 to become an organization that carried the accreditation, these well-respected and global respected certifications and certificates. And at the end of the day, when you come through this program, yes, there's homework. Yes, you've got to do an assessment and an assignment. This is not just pay the money and come on a course and get a certificate. We will not deliver like that. And we've never just handed any certificates out for the sake of it. No money will allow us to, because we are highly scrutinized by City and Guilds, ILM. We're scrutinized yearly by the Continued Professional Development Consortium, and we are a Center of Training Excellence as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you out there, this is a course that will hold you in high regard. You will be able to shout from the rooftops, put it on your LinkedIn, and use it as a credential behind the water you hold in that glass, the weight, in other words. You're holding an absolute fundamental aspect, skill set that's been properly vetted and come through an educational system. And not only that, you then have the opportunity to become a representative of the British School of Excellence on a global level. You can become a country partner. There are many opportunities that come with our organization, along with coaching and training and being a guest on this incredible show, being a guest as a coach and as a trainer. So again, the door opens and it remains open.
Thank you, Philip. I think one of the other key takeaways for me is that you really, as a result of taking this course and having your eyes opened in many different perspectives, you have empathy and compassion for people that maybe you wouldn't have had before, because you're not so eager to jump into the conversation and to interrupt someone. You're doing a lot of listening as people are sharing, and you're understanding people's journeys. And I think that makes people feel more human, because we are the human collective going through this experience together. And I really feel like I made some great relationships and connections with people there, because I got the opportunity through your program to understand more about other cultures and other people's journeys. And I feel like that was a huge takeaway for me as well.
Well, thanks for sharing that. And I completely, wholeheartedly can only agree with you, because that's the exposure we get as an organization every time we get involved in any form of coaching and training. And Train the Trainer is our flagship. But as an organization, we focus on other areas. And those are courses that people have access to via our e-learning platform. So there's a low barrier to entry price-wise, but the value, the content is huge. We're also very exposed on a platform called Course Check, which is I suppose the equivalent of TripAdvisor, but purely focusing on courses. And people share their own personal experiences and reviews on Course Check. And for anyone out there who has any sort of doubts or just wants a bit more confirmation of, am I taking the right program? The proof's in the pudding. We've got the most beautiful video testimonials on our YouTube channel. And you can pick them up via our website or go straight to our YouTube channel. And we really are genuinely out there to serve and help as many people in this world as possible to understand the power behind etiquette, manners, and emotional intelligence.
And Philip, we will be bringing up your website shortly. I want to also share that as a person who doesn't cook very much, and I go out to eat fairly frequently, I now do not put any pepper or salt on my food until I taste it. And I find that most of the time you do not need salt or pepper. And also I'm very diligent about where my knife and fork are when I'm finished eating, and about my napkin. And I look around and I see other people just have everything thrown together. And so that might seem like a small thing, but it's really not, because I think the people who work there, they really have respect for that. And then, of course, one of the best parts is the camaraderie. And having been in London only one time before, but for completely different experience, I got to see what it's like to be a Londoner, to walk, to take the train, and then to take the tube, and to see you racing up the tube steps carrying 2 suitcases without holding on was unbelievable. Just a lot of fun, a lot of laughs.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun and a lot of laughs. But again, there's also method in the madness of not running up and down escalators. But yeah, I do make haste. But again, this is not just about the power and importance of etiquette, manners, and our emotional intelligence. This is about a lifestyle choice, and we all have choices in this world. And as we get older, we've got to maintain our strength. We've got to maintain our weight. We've got to maintain how we sort of approach life in general, because we are influencing people whether we like it or not. So whoever is looking up to you, and you don't even know who's looking up to you at a lot of the time, it's about the power of influence. And I use this very carefully in the fact that we all have that privilege to influence. But influence is like fire. You can either burn yourself and destroy, or you can keep yourself warm and cook on fire. We have that power. It's just an analogy I'm using here, because we can take people down the right path in influencing and giving people the correct sort of structure and direction, or we can take people down the wrong path and the wrong journey. And for me, I truly believe that's a privilege. And I believe that if you look at it, we all have the privilege to be a shepherd, to guide and to steer, and to prepare people for the future and the generations to come. And yeah, so running up and down escalators definitely helps you hopefully stay trim or keep you fit. And it's just part of a rhythm and a regime that I'm used to. And it's a choice, really, at the end of the day. I think it's a mindset as well. And again, just like you, Dr. Jacalyn, when you run your shows, you stand, you're always very present. as I'm standing now, and for those days on Train the Trainer for 5 days, 6, 7, 8 hours a day, I'm behind my desk, standing, connecting, engaging. And again, it's part of our energy that we can bring ourselves in front of people and deliver and be on our A game most of the time. Now, we all get bad days. We all have those, but you still got to show up. And we give people on Train the Trainer those quintessential tools on how to show up, especially when you're faced with a challenge or you're having a bit of a rough day.
You have incredible energy, Philip. You certainly do, and a very positive attitude. And I'd like to just have you touch on Leanne and her role at the organization, because she plays a big part of it. And watching the two of you prepare before each day was really interesting, and you really work well together. Tell us about that.
Leanne's a godsend to the organization. We've grown up in a similar, well, in the same town, but had a couple of mutual friends. And Leanne came into my life, into the British School of Excellence's life, just before COVID, was due to come on the live Train the Trainer, and then ended up doing it on via Zoom. And her background is phenomenal in every aspect. Not only is she a classically trained musician, pianist, but Leanne has really gone and goes above and beyond in whatever she does. And really, I look at Leanne as the backbone behind this organization now. She really is a driving force. I couldn't be more blessed to have someone who is just so passionate about what we do. And again, this woman, through all the challenges she's faced, oh my hat, I just wish people would have half the attitude, or 10% of the mindset and attitude that Leanne adopts. So as an organization, we're in phenomenal hands with the likes of Leanne, who really is a driving force and a force to be reckoned with within our organization, along with Emma, who, again, I can't tell anyone out there, she is the backbone behind these certificates, behind dealing with city and guilds, dealing with CPD, and that is no mean feat. I can assure you that, ladies and gentlemen. And I've got a team who help with the social media. I've got a team who deal with phone calls and really do make an effort to do the utmost to give everyone out there a phenomenal experience. And hopefully you find when you engage with us that we respond proactively and quickly, and that we're there to serve you and support you and guide you. But going back to Leanne, she's an absolute gemstone. She's actually a diamond. And that's all I can really share about how important Leanne is to me and to the organization.
Thank you, Philip. We are on your website. And for those who are listening on an audio-only platform, the website address is thebritishschoolofexcellence.com. Philip, can you tell us about any upcoming events that you would like our audience to know about?
Train the Trainer live in London, which is the beginning of May, 5th of May to the 13th, June, 5th of June to 13th of June. And then straight off the back of that, we have the London experience. And now that is it's just the most unbelievable opportunity to come to London, where we have built up the most wonderful friendships and relationships with organizations that take us on a journey into areas of business, of lifestyle that one would not normally get access to. And the London experience is sort of revolves around that, but we incorporate the beautiful Ascot horse race on Ladies' Day, which is Thursday. We go on the Belmont train down to Bath, where, for those out there who've watched various different television shows, one of them they've used for Bridgerton was the backdrops of Bath. We go on this incredible train, fine dining, butler service. We go into some coaching and development and training. We do a dining etiquette masterclass. We have the privilege of having the English afternoon tea experience at the one and only the Ritz in London. And as I mentioned, delving into some hidden treasures within London, going to the oldest perfumery in the world, 9 generations in the same family, the oldest hatter in the world, again, 9 generations, still very much part of the original family. Those are just, again, you've heard me use the word, that's just scratching the surface. And that comes up from the 14th of June for 6 days.
Absolutely outstanding opportunity for people to get involved. Again, the British School of Excellence.com. Philip, as we are closing out our first episodes in this year 2025, can you let people know what to expect when they come and join this show? Who will be on the show and what will be some of the topics discussed?
Well, we are looking forward to inviting past trainers who've come through the trainer, so past alumni onto the program. And again, opening up the opportunity for anyone who would like to come on the show to reach out to us and share with us your vision, your focus on why you would like to be on the show. It's very much, we offer it complimentary. It's part of our organization. And Dr. Jacalyn and I love connecting and engaging with people from all walks of life who have some great value to share with the world. It's an opportunity for you to promote yourself, promote your business. And we really would encourage anyone out there who's going to want to put a foot in the right direction onto the show. We've got some amazing topics. If there are topics out there that people would like us to discuss on the show, just let us know at hello@thebritishschoolofexcellence.com, or you can go to the USA Global TV and Radio website and share with Dr. Jacalyn what topics you would like to have exposed and discussed at length on the show. It's a great platform to learn and develop and to be inspired. And that's what this platform was founded on is, I know Dr. Jacalyn, coming from a corporate background, your passion and desire was to really go out there and give people this toolbox, which you've created, because your shows have been going, is it 4 years now that you've been 4 or 5 years?
Well, the interesting thing is for this new book that I have coming out, I had to do some research, and the numbers I really look at are on YouTube. And when we really started to take off was August the 12th of 2022.
So again, you put long, hard yards into this. It's a passion of yours. And again, it just gives people access to being able to learn, to grow. And the privileges that stand in front of anyone off this platform are huge.
Thank you very much, Philip. It's a pleasure and an honor to see you and to have you back on the platform. And I just would like to share with people, we would love to have you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We actually have two, but USA Global TV and Radio. We also have Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and you can also subscribe to the British School of Excellence. So if you're over on YouTube, just go find those three and bing, hit the bell so that you are aware of every program that's coming up. Okay, as we close out the show, we are going to hear a little bit more from Philip about the Polished Professional, and then we'll be back in 2 weeks. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Jacalyn.
Thank you. USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents our partner and sponsor, Mr. Philip Sykes and the British School of Excellence. Building confidence, changing lives. And now, proudly presenting the Polished Professional.
On a transformative journey with the British School of Excellence's comprehensive suite of masterclasses, crafted to elevate your professional and personal life. 8 outstanding modules will elevate you to the next level. Module 1, Exploring Life's Purpose, delves into the depths of self-discovery, guiding you to chart your unique path to fulfillment and success. Module 2, Mastering Professional Presence and Confidence. This masterclass is a deep dive into the art of self-assurance and commanding presence, which is essential for standing out in today's competitive landscape. Module 3, Learn the Secrets of Visual Impact, how to curate a personal style that amplifies your professional brand. Module 4, Mastering Professional Etiquette and Communication Excellence, navigating the nuances of corporate interaction with grace and tact. Module 5, Elegance in Eloquence. We impart powerful techniques to captivate and persuade any audience with your oratory skills. Module 6, Unlock the potential of your emotional intelligence, EQ, and harness the ability to connect, empathize, and lead with emotional savvy. Module 7, Mastering DISC, building a gateway to understanding behavioral styles, fostering better personal and professional relationships. Module 8, Mastery in Dining Etiquette. Building your confidence to perfect the subtleties of dining with finesse, enhancing your social savviness at any table. Step into the Polished Professional program where poise, elegance, and excellence aren't just taught, they're instilled for life. Join us to redefine your potential and polish your professional edge.
To learn more, go to thebritishschoolofexcellence.com. The British School of Excellence are investors in people. Let us invest in you.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/usaglobaltv. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dies. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.